It's the Wilk Report. I'm Michael Wilk, coming to you from Cleveland, Ohio, with a report on a bit of assholery from a rather unlikely source, but then again, maybe not so unlikely considering who it is. None other than Freddie Prinze Jr. dissing Star Wars fans. Yeah, apparently he thinks he knows Star Wars better than the rest of us. And he went on this epic rant, trash-talking fans who were disappointed with the new movies. Apparently because he's done a voice on one of the new Star Wars cartoons that Disney has shat out. So let's go ahead and get to Screen Rant, which reports this. Freddie Prinze Jr. claims that Star Wars fans don't know how the Force works in an over 3-minute rant about the franchise's canon. See, even Screen Rant is calling it a rant. But yeah, basically about the canon, the intended audience, and George Lucas's vision. Lucas kicked off Star Wars back in 1977 with A New Hope, but the franchise was revitalized. Well, no, it was actually dumped down, hollowed out, and crapped out by Disney after it purchased Lucasfilm in 2012, after lying to George Lucas, saying that, yeah, they would consider using his plot outline for the new trilogy, and then, of course, completely discarded it. Beyond the movies, though, Star Wars has continued over the years in the form of animated properties like the TV show Star Wars: The Clone Wars and the more recent Star Wars: Resistance. Prinze Jr. is a huge fan of the Star Wars universe and has voiced hero Kanan Jarrus in the animated series Star Wars Rebels. Now he's made his feelings about the current state of Star Wars fandom clear in a recent rant. Prinze Jr. dropped his epic rant on comedian Jeff Dye's Friendship podcast, complete with a generous amount of F-bombs. The conversation was initially about what Prinze Jr. dubbed as fan entitlement, where fans think that they deserve whatever they ask or demand the creators of a franchise or property to do. Prinze Jr. claims the Star Wars fandom has since evolved into becoming the main culprit of this ideology. He repeatedly states that all of his information comes directly from Lucas and to go F yourself if you disagree with what he has to say. No, actually he says go fuck yourself, but this is a family studio, so you're not allowed to use the F-bombs. Shame on you, Freddie. But yeah, so Prinze apparently says that Dave Filoni, the creator of Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, taught him about how the Force works. So it's actually not George Lucas, it's actually Dave Filoni. But anyway, let's go ahead and scroll down and listen to this epic rant here.
I did a Star Wars cartoon, so even I get hate from Star Wars fans when I'm like, look, dog, you're just mad the franchise isn't aging with you.
Right.
But that ain't how it works. The first one was for fucking kids.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take exception to this because this actually is not true. To the extent that it was for kids, that there were a bunch of moments in there, but it is actually for the whole family. This is something Freddie Prinze Jr. doesn't actually understand. He thinks he understands it, he really doesn't, because George Lucas, when he directed this thing, actually made it for the whole family. There are things in the original trilogy that no child is just no child is going to understand it. You know, there are references to World War II and Nazi Germany and Vietnam allegories that the adults would have gotten, taking their kids to see it, but that the kids themselves, it just blew over our heads. Because I was like, I think I was like 9 years old when I saw Return of the Jedi in the theaters, and I didn't know then what I know about it now. So, that just goes to show you, I've grown up and I've realized all the things that were thrown in there for my dad when he took my brother and me to see it, but I myself didn't get it until many years later. So this idea that Star Wars was just for kids, that is false, Freddie, and you know it.
How it works. The first one was for fucking kids.
Right.
The second 3 were for different fucking kids, and this one is for kids. You just pissed off that Han Solo gave the fucking Millennium Falcon to a girl.
Yeah.
That's it. Because Luke Skywalker.
Well, actually, no, he didn't. Han Solo died. He offered her a ride on the Millennium Falcon as part of the crew for no apparent reason, because as far as we know, she's a stranger to him, which is what kicked off speculation because, the way they played her up in The Force Awakens, it made her seem like, well, wait a minute, she can't be a stranger to them, because otherwise why would Han Solo, offer her a place on the Millennium Falcon? And why would Leia hug her instead of Chewbacca, who is actually Han Solo's best friend? If Rey's nobody, if she has no connection to the Skywalkers or to the Solos, then, it just makes no narrative sense. So you're insulting people. And of course, the movies are made also not just for kids, but also for people who saw the first two trilogies as kids. And they want to go back and try and recapture the feeling with their own kids. So, you're full of shit, Prinze.
Skywalker Cinderella or Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Okay, he can talk to things that don't speak English and understands what they're fucking saying. He gets a fairy godfather instead of a fairy godmother who teaches him how to be the best Jedi in the world in no time fucking flat. And
No. Okay. Obviously, you're not paying attention to the passage of time within the movies, okay? Because the original trilogy, the movies were about 3 years apart, okay? And so, and they're set 3 years apart, to account for the passage of time, because it didn't have de-aging technology back then. So, yeah, you have to explain the passage of time. Luke has spent the 3 years between A New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back actually learning about the Force, but Obi-Wan's dead, not a very good teacher, because, he died, and there's only so much you can do as a ghost. So Obi-Wan, when Luke's near death, comes to him as a Force ghost and says, okay, go train with Yoda, who instructed me. Which directly contradicts the prequels, because George Lucas felt the need to insert Qui-Gon Jinn, which is a completely useless character. Doesn't add anything, and just, but, I'll deal with the prequel trilogies, another time. I want to focus on what this idiot is saying, because, even Luke, spends, within the time frame of The Empire Strikes Back, he spends days or weeks training with Yoda, goes off to rescue Han and Leia and Chewbacca and the rest of the gang, but he comes back years later to finish the training, but he spent that intervening time learning how to use the Force. So he didn't just learn it overnight. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, Prinze.
everybody, I know more about the Force than most people because Dave Filoni taught me and George.
Right, Dave Filoni. Not George Lucas, Dave Filoni.
Lucas taught him, and all these video games.
Okay, so you're learning secondhand from the Force by someone who. This is like a game of telephones where you say something and then it makes the rounds and it comes back completely different from what you originally said. Because obviously you are not understanding what Dave Filoni told you, and Dave Filoni clearly did not understand what George Lucas told him. So you don't know what you're talking about, Freddie.
Fuck people up on what the Force is. Luke's skill doesn't dictate whether he wins or loses.
Right.
The Emperor doesn't dictate whether he wins or loses. The Force dictates who wins or loses based.
Not quite, because Luke actually had to struggle to redeem his father, okay? He went up against the Emperor and Darth Vader. Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, as early as The Empire Strikes Back, they, in their conversation through hologram, apparently they're so afraid of Luke's power levels that they basically admit to the audience in conversation that only by teaming up together can they hope to bring down Luke Jedi and turn him to the dark side. I mean, they could have killed him. Maybe. It depends on, seriously, I mean, obviously they were never going to kill him because, you know, he's a hero of the story. You can't kill off the hero. You're not Alfred Hitchcock, George. So, yeah. But obviously you cannot rewrite history like this, Freddie, and you're being deliberately dishonest. Either that or you've never seen the original Star Wars.
On balance. And here's the quick version on how to explain it to all these people who fucking think they get to decide.
Okay, so you're trying to say that people don't have isn't that what you're doing? You're bitching and complaining and claiming that the fans are trying to decide what the Force can and cannot do. No, actually, George Lucas established what the Force can and cannot do. You're the one who's now dictating what it can and cannot do. Fuck you, Freddie.
In the first if you want to do this like time-wise, Palpatine, you would say, and Yoda are the smartest too. Palpatine clearly smarter because Yoda was blind to the power of the dark side and the seduction of Anakin. So let's talk about the seduction of Anakin fucking Skywalker for a second. If the Emperor is the smartest dude in the universe and knows that the Force dictates this, if he kills who he sees as a rival, Anakin, then he knows the Force is just going to fucking correct that because the Emperor knows this. These are George Lucas's words, not mine. So fuck you if you disagree with me.
Okay,
straight up, this is information, not affirmation time. Straight up, man.
No, that's not. Wait, you just said that you got it from Dave Filoni, who got it from George Lucas. No, you're contradicting yourself, saying you got it from George Lucas. Well, which guy did you get it from? Did you get it from Dave Filoni or did you get it from George Lucas? Make up your mind.
Emperor knows that. So instead of killing Anakin, what does he do? He seduces Anakin to double the strength of the dark side. So then what does the Force do?
Balance.
It balances us. How? It gives us twins, Luke and Leia, 2 and fucking 2. Balance. And if you look at the movie through just that simple perspective, you will not only know why every single bad guy loses and every single good guy loses, you'll know who's going to win and lose in the next fucking movies. I can tell you, I just don't want to wreck it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, right. You can tell us. Well, maybe because you're under contract not to wreck it. Because honestly, I mean, Disney doesn't even know what the hell it's doing with the new trilogy. So, I mean, why would you know? And even if you did, if you do know the ending, well, nobody gives a shit anyway. Because of Jar Jar Abrams and Ruin Johnson ruining Star Wars. To the point that no one actually cares about it.
People bitch about the dumbest shit like it's archetype characters. This is George Lucas's words. There is no Jack Bauer in Star Wars. That character doesn't exist. It's not Han Solo. Han Solo is a reluctant hero, okay? He's a reluctant hero.
Well, okay, so that's probably the one thing Freddie Prinze is actually saying in this that actually is almost accurate. Because, yeah, he is kind of dragged into this reluctantly. I mean, he's hired by Luke and Obi-Wan to take them to Alderaan to deliver the droids. And then he kind of gets dragged into this, adventure that's greater than him. But he actually changes and evolves, and he grows to believe in, if not the cause itself, he certainly believes in his friends. So you're kind of bullshitting yourself. I mean, you got it partly right, but have you ever actually seen these movies, Freddie? And if you have, how long has it been? Because you're obviously not remembering the same movies the rest of us are.
Archetype. Darth Maul, who everybody wants to win, and he's everyone's favorite because he looks sick and he's great in the video games.
He does look cool.
Fuck you guys. He's Sisyphus. He is born to fail. Learn your Greek mythology like, I don't know, George fucking Lucas did. He's cursed to roll a boulder up the hill only to have it roll to the bottom again every single time for eternity.
Yes.
That is Darth Maul's quest.
Yes.
He's in on the joke, you guys. He knows it. He's just cursed to live that life.
Well, I don't know if you could say that Darth Maul actually knows it within the context of the story. I mean, if the characters are that self-aware, then Darth Maul is just a sadomasochist who's getting his jollies, fighting pointless battles that he knows he can't win just because. I mean, come on, dude, you're full of shit, okay? You really are.
Again, not my opinion. George Lucas's. So go fuck yourself if you disagree. You don't get to level up in the.
Well, okay, so all right, I'm gonna stop again right here, Freddie, because no, fuck you, because fuck you for actually putting words in George Lucas's mouth and Dave Filoni's mouth and acting like you know Star Wars better than every other fan. No, you don't. You don't even fucking know Scooby-Doo. And you were in like what, 2 or 3 Scooby-Doo live action movies? No. You don't even fucking know that, and you claim to have been a fan. No.
Star Wars world. That's a fucking video game. There's no such thing as a gray Jedi. Qui-Gon even says, I turn towards the light because it's there. There's no gray. That's pretend fan fiction shit, which is cool, but don't try to canonize it because it doesn't.
Well, no, actually, gray Jedi are actually part of the now non-canon extended Star Wars universe, I guess. I mean, there are people who actually get paid to write Star Wars novels, and they contribute, what they want to it, but, within the context of what George Lucas approved. So that's another thing that you're completely full of shit about, Freddie. I mean, again, I don't know much about this whole gray Jedi thing, but, again, this is stuff that's actually been added on, pre-Disney. So I don't know why you don't know about it. I don't know, maybe you just don't focus on any of the extended universe stuff, which, again, fine, some people, I don't get to read much of the Star Trek or Star Wars novelizations, just have not had the time to read that, but, I at least know it's out there. I know enough about it, and what's in there to actually say, Freddie, that you are full of shit, that, yeah, they actually did establish Grey Jedi in the extended universe and extended canon. Maybe not in the movies and TV shows, but it's there. Oh, yeah.
Work, and I'm never going to buy it, ever. Star Wars is for fucking kids. Sorry. I'm sorry, man.
That was incredible.
I did a Star Wars cartoon. So
okay, so yeah. So this is, yeah. Okay, so Freddie Prinze Jr. is here. He's going on an epic fucking rant accusing fans of not understanding Star Wars, and everything he has just said has been a complete misunderstanding of Star Wars. I mean, seriously, I mean, leveling up is not what you think it is, Freddie. I mean, it's basic storytelling, okay? You don't start off with the hero who is already all-powerful and doesn't have any weaknesses and, is a Mary Sue or a Gary Stu. No, you start off with a character who is very mortal, who has flaws, who has to struggle, who starts off in a position of weakness and has to level up and get stronger so he can face a bad guy and win. I mean, I don't know where the hell you're getting all this shit. Even Luke had to level up because he had no training and had to learn how to use a Force. He didn't just learn it in a vacuum. I mean, good God. I mean, have you ever actually seen these movies, Freddie? What the hell does Sarah Michelle Gellar see in you? I mean, I know, you two are in love and, you've got your own kids and, you might actually be one of those rare Hollywood marriages that lasts until the end of time, but you're still a fucking idiot, and I don't know what she sees in you if you're going to go ahead and do this shit, dude. Come on. I mean, you're an actor. You should be, and you're working on a Star Wars cartoon, so you should actually have passion enough for this to actually know what the fuck you're talking about. And this whole thing is just completely, it's just completely off the rails, dude. I mean, come on. You don't know Star Wars better than the rest of us, Freddie. You just, your entire rant betrays that you don't know shit about Star Wars. And you don't know shit about storytelling. Even though you're an actor and your whole career is based on storytelling as an actor. And you don't know storytelling. It's easy to see why you haven't been in any shit that's been even remotely popular or entertaining in I don't know how many years. I mean, you were a 90s pretty boy face who's in a bunch of teeny bopper movies, and ever since then it's like, okay, so I don't know what you've been doing since then, but it's clearly you're out of your element here. So, what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear more, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive notifications whenever we upload new content. And if you want to help support the channel, keep the lights on, bring you more content, head over to our Patreon or subscribe star page. We can't do this without you. And one more thing, actually, before I go. Right now, for this moment, more than my Patreon or subscribe star, I'm including a link in the description below. Please head on over to the GoFundMe for Anas Abdeen so he can appeal the decision by the judge in his lawsuit against CBS for plagiarism. CBS and Alex Klutzman stole his work tardigrades for their STD, which is behind a paywall in CBO All Access. So basically, yeah, you have to go pay for CBS's STD. And it's based on stolen material. Star Trek Online has incorporated the stolen material from STD into its own game platform. So that now every time you log on to Star Trek Online, you are participating in the theft of Anas Abdeen's work. Please stop supporting that. Go to the link below. Donate whatever you can. We're almost there. You know, we have to be able to show CBS and any other major corporation that, no, you cannot simply steal independent artists' work and profit off of it and then tell us we can't do anything about it. No, fuck you, CBS, and fuck you, Freddie Prinze Jr. I hope Sarah Michelle Gellar puts a leash on your ass and tells you to shut the fuck up in public, because you basically, oh my god, dude. Till next time, this is Michael Wilk for the Wilk Report saying take care, good night, I'm out.